Okay, so here we are, just a couple of days away from the official start of the UEFA Men's Competition League phases, from the Champions League all the way to the Conference League. So here I am presenting my predictions for the league phase. So it's very simple. I'm predicting every single league phase game for all three men's competitions and putting the league phase results on a table calculator. And all the score lines are just my predictions and not data-driven ones. But then it's also simulation-based, so I'll put in upsets by random. Some seasons will produce more upsets than the others. Some matchups are more probable to become upsets than others, so I'll take into account that as well. But upsets are mostly put in by random. So, just a little bit about my take on European football. In the European football settings, I hate the top four leagues, I hate the French league, I love the lesser leagues. So I've always wanted to see the lesser league teams win against teams from the top four leagues and also the French league. But unfortunately, those underdog stories have become rare in the past 2 seasons. So, the past 2 seasons of UEFA football have been quite hard to watch for me. Unfortunately, if you are here to see upsets, that's not really the case because my predictions are kind of on the realistic side. So not a lot of upsets, I'm afraid. Although I'll definitely like to see a lot more of them. So I'll just show the score lines and discuss some of the significant ones, but not all because that would take too long. And of course, I'll just show the final league table. So let's jump straight in. Champions League. Here are the Champions League teams. A lot of the usual suspects. Some teams returning after quite a while. Olympiacos and Slavia Prague. The last time they were there, the last time they were in the Champions League, I think it was during COVID, and for Slavia Prague it was pre-COVID. And Athletic Bilbao returning to the Champions League after 10 or 11 years. So, yep, and also 4 Davidsons, Bodo Glimt, Union Saint-Gilloise, Paphos, and Kairat Almaty. So for each match day, I'll just show it like this. So Athletic Club versus Arsenal is a matchup, Ajax Inter Milan is a matchup, Sporting and Kairat Almaty is a matchup. So, and also I will show the score lines just like this. Yep, that's right. So for match day 1, results are generally quite normal and quite straightforward. Liverpool, last season's league phase winners, will start off well 1-0 over Atletico Madrid at home. Olympiacos fans will cry stop the count as they win 3-0 against Paphos FC, provisionally standing in the top 8. Athletic Bilbao getting quite a harsh welcome, 1-3 loss at home to Arsenal. And also Union Saint-Gilloise will get a very harsh start, 2-0 loss to PSV Eindhoven. Ajax kind of disappointing start as well, losing at home 2-1 to Inter Milan. So yep, and you can see that I'm not predicting a lot of draws. Let me see. There are only 4 draws, and trust me, some match days there will be less because last season what we have been observing is that there are very few draws because a lot of teams, especially the strong teams, unfortunately, they are not settling for draws. They are just going to win all the games because they need that to push for the top 8 and the highest seedings. So, unfortunately, I believe there will be very few draws compared to a normal league, but not as few as last year. And also, big teams are getting reckless in the league phase, so we can see some big score lines, especially when the very strong teams are playing the debutants. So, yep, unfortunately, I'm predicting some reckless scorelines will occur. So, here's match day 1. Let's move on to match day 2. Match day 2, London clubs doing very fine. Oh, actually, they're doing brilliant. 4-1 and 5-1 wins. And also the defending champions of Paris Saint-Germain is going to, experience a little bit of their hard schedule, losing 3-0 to Barcelona at Camp Nou. And also Napoli is flying 2-0 over Sporting Club de Portugal, who on the other hand is struggling. So here's match day 3. Paris Paris Saint-Germain bounced back 4-1 away at Bayer Leverkusen. And then Sporting Club de Portugal also bounced back 2-1 over Olympique de Marseille, who is actually the one who is struggling. 0 points in the first 3 matches. Napoli having a great first 3 matches, 7 points, 3-2 over PSV Eindhoven at their home. And then for the highlight match, Kara Almaty against Paphos. They will both have points on board. 2-0 draw. I believe they will play. They will draw to each other and get a point each. Chelsea with a strong return, actually 4-2 over Ajax. And also Galatasaray and Bodo Glimt, they will be very frustrated with a 2-0 draw, knowing that a win could be crucial in getting knockout phase football. So let's fast forward. Match day 4. Of course, Liverpool Real Madrid. Liverpool welcome Trent Alexander-Arnold back to Anfield, and I think they will beat Real Madrid 2-0. And then Olympiacos is smelling knockout phase 2-0 over PSV Eindhoven. Actually, this could be crucial for Olympiacos and also for PSV. This could be damaging because PSV, in my opinion, PSV has the hardest schedule out of all the 36 teams. They have the hardest, and it is completely shown in the final league table. You'll see. And Olympique de Marseille finally on the board 2-0 over Atalanta. Actually, Inter Milan very strong first half, 5-0 over Kairat Almaty. Completely reckless against the weak teams. Poor Kairat Almaty. They've got 10 points on the first 4 matches. Okay, it's going very quickly. It's already halfway through. It's been going under the radar, but Club Brugge has secretly had a rough start. Only 2 points in the first 4 matches. But here in match day 5, I believe they will go on the board with a win 2-1 at Sporting Club de Portugal, who on the other hand returns back to the struggling form. Borussia Dortmund, they are solidifying their position in the knockout phase 3-0 over Villarreal. Athletic Bilbao actually flying over Slavia Prague 4-0 away at Czech Republic. Slavia Prague, the Czech side, is still pointless in 5 matches. But then Ajax and Benfica, they will be damaging each other's chance as Benfica drop points and Ajax drop points as well, because Benfica is very important in their bid for the knockout phase. So Benfica, very painful points drop here. So in match day 6, Olympique de Marseille keeps the momentum 2-0 over struggling Union Saint-Gilloise side. The Belgian champions, debutants, enjoy the trip in the Champions League, but I believe they will have one of the hardest schedules and they're going to have a very harsh time there. And Olympique de Marseille, the momentum is on, 7 points in the last 3. Belgian clubs are also enjoying it quite tough. Club Brugge losing 3-0 at home to Arsenal, who is flying. And then Benfica has got their chances destroyed as well, only drawing 1-0 at home. But then Napoli is also getting their chances a little bit dampened as they are fighting for a top 8 spot. Yes, Napoli is flying in my simulation. I believe the new signings they got will bring them a lot of strength. So now it's Christmas time, and we'll look at the standings at Christmas. Slavia Prague actually is pointless after 6 matches, and 4 teams at only 1 point. Horrendous. A lot of teams at 7 points. That's the current barrier for the knockout phase. Newcastle United sit on the barrier. Olympique de Marseille are just out. PSV Eindhoven and Bodo Glimt looking to make it into the knockout phase as well. Struggling seasons for Atletico Madrid and Benfica, only at 8 points. These 2 teams will be very disappointed, but Olympiacos FC, they will be quite surprised with their performance, and I believe they will have a very good season. And then for the top half of the table, you can see Arsenal, Liverpool, Real Madrid firmly in the top 8. Paris Saint-Germain also firmly on top 8. A trio of Italian clubs, Inter Milan, Juventus, and Napoli, fighting for a top 8 spot. But then they can also take down Bayern Munich and Man City, who is also sitting on the verge. Quite surprising seasons for Tottenham and Ajax, and also Villarreal. in my simulation. So fast forward for the January matchups. Now, match day 7. Here are the match day 7. Club Brugge continues their surge. 3-1 away win versus Carlo Almaty. Their hard part of fixtures has already gone. So now it is the time they start to reap the points. Napoli, crucial win over Copenhagen for a top 8 bid away at Denmark. Paris Saint-Germain this week will be the week they rest their players. So I believe Sporting Club de Portugal will get a draw here. And then Atletico Madrid continues to disappoint as they lose 1-0 to Galatasaray. Villarreal wins a crucial decider against Ajax as they more or less clinch a knockout phase spot. So on the final match day, top 8 contenders, all of them get their wins, and poor Kairat Almaty, as Arsenal needed a very great game to get the goal difference boost they need to push for a top 8 after losing 2-0 to Inter Milan. So they got a 4-0 win over Kairat Almaty. Is that enough? Let us see. Atalanta win 2-0 away to cap off Union Saint-Gilloise' horror season. But Club Brugge, the other Belgian side, the more experienced in Europe Belgian side, completes their comeback 2-1 over Olympique Marseille. So 2 points in the first 4 matches, 9 points in the next 4. Surely that's enough for a knockout phase spot. Slavia Praha finally on the board, 2-0 away at Paphos. They have been pointless their first 7 matches. Only now did they get their first 3 points. So here's the final league table now. Let's see which teams are going to be eliminated. So 4 teams with horrendous seasons with only 1 point in 8 matches. Union Saint-Gilloise, their only point against Inter Milan. Karabakh, their only point against Chelsea, both at home by the way. Paphos FC and Kairat Almaty, their only point against each other. So Slavia Praha, pointless after 7, only their win over Paphos lifted them to 3 points. These 5 teams are kind of not competitive. The other teams are a little bit competitive. So Galatasaray, Bodo Glimt, unfortunately, they are not going to make it. Olympique Marseille and Newcastle United, not a very good track record. A little bit disappointing from PSV Eindhoven. I mean, they have a very hard fixture list, but I believe I want to see them in the knockout phase. But in this simulation, they did not. They didn't. Eintracht Frankfurt also booked by a very hard schedule. So who just made it? Oh, that's Monaco. Very, very, very lucky. I mean, for Newcastle and PSV, they play out a 2-0 draw. If that game ended either way, Monaco will be out. So very, very lucky. Olympiacos, good season, 9 points. Copenhagen as well entering the knockout phase. Club Brugge, a very good comeback. But on the other side, a little bit disappointing for Atletico Madrid and Benfica. A strong season for Bilbao, Athletic Bilbao actually. The best top 4 team by far in the league phase. So I believe they will be in the knockout phase. Very surprising for Villarreal and Ajax as well. Ajax, I believe, with a very manageable schedule, they will do something. A lot of people kind of have negative views on their campaign. They are thinking that Ajax will be out, but I think they will be in. They have a very manageable schedule, and I believe they do have the strength to make the knockouts, and as a seeded team as well. So congratulations. And Bayer Leverkusen and Tottenham Hotspur, I believe their fans will be quite satisfied with 11th and 10th. Maybe a little bit disappointed out of the top 8, but I believe this is a very high finish for them. But on the other side, Inter Milan, unbeaten season, but 4 draws. Thank you for giving Union Saint-Gilloise the only point, and also an incredible draw at Liverpool. But then, the draws against Borussia Dortmund and Atletico Madrid, very unnecessary drop points. That is going to be painful. That is costing them a top 8 spot. Inter Milan, just out of the top 8. So who are the top 8? Arsenal just make it. Paris Saint-Germain and Bayern Munich, proving that hard schedules do not matter to them. They still have the trick. Napoli, incredible season. I'm predicting them to be incredible in the Champions League this season. And with the new signings and also the usual suspects like the Man City, Barcelona, Real Madrid. And Liverpool, once again, league phase winner. So congratulations to Liverpool fans, I guess. Yeah, but yeah, winners again. So yeah. So here are the 36 teams in the Champions League. So these are the 24 that remain. And I know that for the knockout phase bracket, they will have draws for knockout playoffs and the round of 16 to decide because they pair the teams according to the seedings. But I'm going to ignore the mechanism and just give you an imagined bracket, like imagine what matchups would happen. So here's an imagination of what matchups would happen. Arsenal against Inter Milan again. Liverpool against Chelsea actually, and Arsenal is also in the same quarterfinal bracket in my simulation. And Man City is also in the same semi-final bracket because left side is one semi-final and the right side is the other semi-final. So, yep. That's a little bit of a concept about what the imagined bracket could look like how you can imagine the knockout phase look like. So yeah, that's all for the Champions League. So let's move on to the Europa League, where here are the 36 teams here. Well, nothing special noted in league phase last year. The number of draws is a little bit less than normal, but not very abnormally less as the Champions League last year suggested. This year lineup is actually quite balanced, I would say. Not easy to predict. I believe. Actually, let me be bold a little bit bold about this. I think every single one of these 36 teams have a chance to win it. Actually, yes, because there is a balance of quality teams. So yeah, I think this year's Europa League is quite balanced. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, the results do not disappoint me. Okay, now let's jump to the Europa League match days. So for match day 1, here's the scorelines. So FC Porto, a flying start 4-1 away at Red Bull Salzburg. FC Utrecht extending their very strong qualifying momentum, 2-0 victory over Olympique Lyonnais. On the other hand, Scottish clubs kind of struggle at the start. Celtic losing 2-1 away at Cervena, and Rangers only getting a home draw against KFC Henk. Dinamo Zagreb an upset over Fenerbahce, who just lost Jose Mourinho. Good start for Real Betis and Young Boys, and Go Ahead Eagles actually debuts with a draw with FCSB, who has been struggling in domestic league and very wobbly in the European qualifiers as well. And also Victoria Pilsen, another victory over Ferencvárosi after last season's knockout playoff round. So on to match day 2, SK Brann harsh start with losses versus LOSC Lille and Utrecht, who is flying actually. Celtic returning to winning ways 3-0 over SC Braga. Fenerbahce also bounced back 2-0 over OGC Nice, and Nottingham Forest also taking victory 1-0 at home against Midtjylland. Young Boys going 2-2 actually. And also 2 Pot 1 clashes ending in 1-0 draws, Roma against Lille and Feyenoord against Aston Villa. So for matchday 3, Salzburg finally off the block at home with a victory over Ferencvárosi. Real Betis 2-0 away at Henk, 3 out of 3, same as Young Boys actually, 4-1 over Ludogorets Razgrad. And also away wins for Porto, Dinamo Zagreb and Aston Villa. And also Bologna actually. FCSB is in early trouble, only 1 point in their first 3 matches. Rangers also very disappointing at start, inconsistent as well, stumbling 3-0 at Brann in Norway. Victoria Pilsen getting a very strong away draw at AS Roma, strengthening the top 8 push. So now on to matchday 4, Midtjylland 3 points against Celtic, 2-0 victory. OGC Nice halting Freiburg's very strong momentum with 1-0 draw. Ludogorets bad start, 0 points in the first 4 matches. Rangers once again let down, very very disappointing, 3-0 at home against Roma. Cervena actually nice win, 3-2 over LOSC Lille. Good results for Brann, as well as they get an away draw against Bologna. Malmö and also PAOK get their victories as well to strengthen their knockout phase push. Match number 5. Let's see. Crvena Zvezda actually continues their very strong form, 2-1 away win, 2-1 at home victory over FCSB, who's really struggling. Now at 10 points already. But Porto and Real Betis now at 13 points, very impressive. Maccabi Tel Aviv, their chances are falling. After being unbeaten in the first 3 matches, they have got 2 losses in a row. Rangers continues their form of taking down SC Braga with a 2-0 victory, bouncing back. And also, Losk Lille and KRC Henk made their push towards the top 8. So now on to match day 6. Utrecht finally returning to a winning way, 2-0 at home against Nottingham Forest. Rangers initiating a late push for a better knockout phase spot, 3-0 victory at Ferencvárosi. Fenerbahce again bottling, 2-0 loss at Bran, and then Dinamo Zagreb and Celtic getting good results, 4-1 over Real Betis and 2-0 over Roma to strengthen their knockout phase push. Actually for Celtic is the top 8 push as well. And then Panathinaikos and Victoria Pilsen 2-0 draw, putting each other at a terrible position. They will be regretting why they couldn't get the win. So that's the standing at Christmas. Celta Vigo, they are kind of lucky. I thought they would be out. They are now at 24th, right at the edge. Midtjylland and Sturm Graz will look to make a push, and also FC Basel a little bit disappointing, but they will also look to make a push as well. And of course FCSB, I predicted them to be absolutely horrendous this season. They are at 35th. The debutants Go Ahead Eagles a little bit out of luck. And so for the top half of the table, a little bit of a rejuvenation for Crvena Zvezda and Dinamo Zagreb as they find themselves in a little bit rhythm in the Europa League as opposed to last season in Champions League where they got out. And also Freiburg impressive in the top 8. Porto right now topping the standings at Christmas. Now on to the January fixtures at match day 7. So Real Betis and Freiburg strengthening their top 8 push with respective victories. Maccabi Tel Aviv absolutely collapsing. And Fenerbahce, crucial 3-2 victory at home against Aston Villa, strengthening the knockout phase push. And also, Rangers and Crvena Zvezda joined the top 8 fight with 4-0 victory and 2-0 victory over Ludogorets Razgrad and Malmo FF. The other 2 sides technically eliminated. And Nice and Go Ahead Eagles draw out and they are technically out. Both of them are technically out. And then Braga got their knockout hopes severely destroyed at home. 2-0 loss against Aston Villa. And Midtjylland actually on the verge of elimination after Christmas strengthens their knockout phase push as well. 2-0 away at Bran. So for the final match day, let's see. Okay. FC Basel rejuvenation makes us very strong push, 2-0 over Victoria Pilsen, and all but damages Victoria Pilsen's top 8 hopes. That's a shame. FCSB and Go Ahead Eagles steal points off the knockout hopefuls. Braga and Fenerbahce with victories. Young Boys snapped their 4-game losing streak finally, winning away at Stuttgart 3-1. Porto and Rangers drop points for both teams, and especially for Rangers, this could be painful. So now let's look at the final standings, shall we? So let's see who is eliminated. Ferencvárosi secretly had a nightmare season. 1 win, 7 loss, their only win against Ludogorets Razgrad, who is at 35th. Sorry, Hungarian fans, I actually could see Ferencvárosi in the knockout playoffs. If you get points over Henk and Salzburg, these 2 games will be key. As expected, Ludogorets Razgrad and Malmo FF have horrendous seasons. Also, FCSB are very shaky in both in domestic and in continental football. So I believe they will eliminate as well. PAOK will be kind of disappointing. Actually, last season they have been disappointing, but this season their disappointment will lead them to elimination, unfortunately. To be honest, I didn't really do the Greek teams that great in this simulation. I hope they do better, actually. And Sturmgras painfully just missed out. I don't expect much from Sturmgras, but then their home loss against Nottingham Forest is the nail on the coffin for them. Now on to the knockout phase. Oh, Celta de Vigo barely made the knockout phase. I wasn't expecting that. I thought Celta de Vigo and Bologna would be out, but in this simulation they made it. So yeah, they made it. I don't know. I thought they would be out. 19th, a little bit disappointing for Fenerbahce, but remember, actually last season they were actually 24th. They were the last team in the league table to make the knockout phase. So, yep, I don't expect that much from Fenerbahce after them disappointing us last season. And rejuvenation for the Swiss clubs and young boys in Basel to re-establish their status as a European regular. 3-1 victories over Stuttgart for both teams, the key to success. And also, Crvena Zvezda and Dinamo Zagreb, as I said, they will find Europa League easier to grab wins than in the Champions League. And 3 British clubs among Victoria Pilsen to painfully just miss the top 8 spots. Rangers, definitely their loss to Brann is to blame, and Victoria Pilsen, their home loss to Freiburg proved to be a nightmare. So for top 8, yeah, that game is a nightmare. Freiburg just made the top 8. I think a lot of us forgot that Freiburg has had a very strong Europa League track record in the 2022-23 and 23-24 seasons. So I believe they will secure top 8. I believe they will have a good season in Europa League as well, again. And Aston Villa and Porto delivering strong seasons as expected. Porto should bounce back from last season. Last season, I mean, it's kind of disappointing for them, but this season expectations are high. They've made some great signings, and I believe they will maybe a little bit pick up their form, so I believe they will be in the top 8. Unfortunately, as much as I don't like French clubs and the top 4 leagues as well, France has a very strong Europa League lineup for Lille and Olympique Lyonnais, and I believe they will help deliver crucial points to secure their top 5 status, which is unfortunate. I don't want to see the top 4 leagues and the French league succeed, but that's what it is. And also Feyenoord in the top 8 as well, impressive, and joining Roma and Real Betis. So here are the 36 teams. After elimination, these are the 24 teams remaining. Full house for pot 1, but especially quite disappointing for pot 2. Only 5 out of 9 teams remain, and same as pot 4. Pot 4 also got 5 out of 9 teams remaining. Pot 3 only 4. So this is the bracket. A little bit of a conceptual bracket. As you can see, very balanced bracket. I can't see particularly strong or weak draws. And then there is something I need to note. Because now I think UEFA has got a rule that prohibits teams from the same association from playing each other in the knockout playoff round. So the matchup BS Young Boys against FC Basel will not happen. So yep, that's something to note about. So let's move on to the Conference League, where we got 6 spots instead of 4, but also still 36 teams. Very diverse mix. I like the Conference League. So here are the teams, and let's jump into the predictions. Oh, but before that, I need to look at some observations. In the Conference League, my observation is about like weak teams kind of destroying others through dropping points against each other, and then the strong teams keep winning and a little bit more consistent. So I believe, yep, you will see quite a number of draws, especially for teams that are on the elimination verge. So those teams will be regretting a lot of results. So now let's see. Match day 1, Lausanne Sport, very strong start, 3-0 victory against Breidablik. A little bit shaky on both sides of Lech Poznan and Rapid Wien. Very shaky in the qualifiers. Rapid Wien barely sneaking through every round, and Lech Poznan dropped down all the way from the Champions League third qualifying round to the Conference League. And these two inconsistent teams will play a 1-0 draw. And also, fellow rare faces Kuopio and FC Drita, the Finnish champions and the Kosovo champions, drew 1-1. Slovan Bratislava humiliating in qualifiers, and I believe they will have a humiliating match day 1. 3-2 at home, lost to Strasbourg. Good start for Strinski Mostar, Omonia, and main contenders AZ Alkmaar, Crystal Palace, and Shakhtar Donetsk. Let's jump to match day 2. Oh, I forgot to tell. And there is no Christmas standing because Christmas standing is equal to the final standings for a Conference League. So now let's jump to match day 2. Crystal Palace stumbling at home versus AEK Larnaca, only a 1-0 draw. Rako Czestochowa and Legia Warsaw, and also Real Vallecano going 2-2. FC Noah attempting to improve from the 4 points they got last season. 2 draws in a row. This time away at fellow Pot 6 rivals Universitatea Craiova. FC Drita actually shocked Omonia with a draw. 1-0 draw at home, and then AEK Athens and Aberdeen play out what could be a very, very costly draw. Shamrock Rovers proved their main path qualification is no fluke with a 2-0 victory over Celje. So now on to match day 3. Fiorentina, a statement victory 2-1 away at Mainz. Slovan Bratislava, starting off with 2 losses in a row, finally bounced back. 4-1 away at KUB Skopje. Aberdeen only 1 point against the AEK teams, this time losing 2-0 to AEK Larnaca. Sigma Olomouc, bad start, 2-1 loss at Noah. And also, Cameroon Spartans, the team from Malta, the first team ever from Malta to qualify for a UEFA competition proper. Fair play to them. Will go on the board with a away draw 2-2 against struggling Samsunspor. Only 1 point in 3 matches for Samsunspor. And also Cameroon Spartans actually. Crystal Palace and AZ Alkmaar, a game that could change the league phase and change the seedings a lot. 1-1 draw. Celje damaged Legia Warsaw's perfect record with a 1-0 draw at home. And Jagiellonia Białystok, very strong start actually. 1-0 away win at Skędija in match day 3. I believe it's now 7 points in 3 matches. So it's already halfway through, time flies. Match day 4 now. Drita actually very, very strong run. 3-2 victory over Skędija. Now Skędija is a little bit in trouble. I believe they will enjoy the trip, but they will not enjoy the results a lot. Rapid Wien only draw at Rako Czestochowa. These two teams are really fighting each other in the knockout playoff spots. Slovan Bratislava's search continues. 4-1 over Real Vallecano, snapping the Spanish team streak. And then Sparta Prague, actually the perfect run, 4-2 away at Legia Warsaw. Legia Warsaw a little bit inconsistent in the 2 match days, and Rijeka emphatic 2-0 victory over AEK Larnaca, which could be important in their push for a better knockout position. Noah's strong momentum halted at Aberdeen as Aberdeen ran out 2-0 victories. Jagiellonia Białystok and AZ Alkmaar dropped unexpected points against KUB Skopje, and Shelbourne, the Irish champion, who is slowly, low-key having a good season. Oh, and actually for match day 4, Lincoln Red Imps finally on the board winning against Flamron Spartans. Oh, so now match day 5 now. Rijeka continuing the incredible one. 2-0 victory versus Celje, now at 10 points already. Sigma Olomouc finally on the board. 3-0 away win at Lincoln Redims at Gibraltar. And Lausanne Sport finally gets a point after 2 losses. They get a point 1 away at Coupe Scorpio as they pick out 1-0 draw. Fiorentina drop points 2-0 at home against Dynamo Kiev. Sparta Praha continues to be perfect. Polish teams. Last season, remember, Polish teams have lost momentum in the last 2 league phase match days. This year, I'm predicting similar stuff. Jagiellony Białystok home defeat to Real Vallecano. Lech Poznan losing at home 3-1 to FSV Mainz, and also Rakow Częstochowa held to a goalless draw against Striński at home. Finally, now match day 6. Who will get the knockout phase? AEK Athens gets a win 3-0 over Universitatea Craiova, but I don't think that is enough. They have lost way too many matches. Slovan Bratislava completes the comeback 2-0 over BK Häcken. Are they in the top 8? Let's see. Real Vallecano also strong win, 2-0 victory over Drita, snapping Drita's strong momentum, but I believe the Kosovo side has already got enough points to clinch a knockout phase spot. Congratulations to them. Shakhtar Donetsk 1-0 draw at Rijeka. Could they bottle the top 8 spot? And also Shamrock Rovers all but ended their own top 8 hopes as they got 2 points stolen by Flamron Spartans at their home in Ireland. So now let's go to the standings and see which 12 teams are eliminated. Let's see. Scandija, Lincoln Redims, and Flamron Spartans. I believe they will enjoy the trip, but they're just happy to be in the league phase, I believe. Universitatea Craiova, also happy to be in league phase. I believe they will go winless in their first ever appearance in the UEFA club competition proper. Only 3 draws. AEK Athens, disappointing, only 4 points. Disappointing eliminations. In this simulation, they let Aberdeen and Shamrock Rovers run away with points at Greece. So, yep, those 2 games are costly. Samsunspor kind of actually respectable campaign despite elimination, because considering their lack of experience in Europe, I believe this is already a very good campaign. A remarkable 2-0 victory over AEK Athens as well. Looking at the knockout phase, Lausanne Sport, Shelbourne, and Aberdeen very lucky to make the knockout phase with 7 points and 6 points. Last season, 6 points would definitely not be enough. This season, I've ramped up the number of draws for weak teams, so 6 points is enough apparently. Coupe Scorpio, the 25th place team, heartbreak for conceding 4 goals against Slovan Bratislava and Crystal Palace, the Pot 1 and Pot 2 teams, as they go out on goal difference, as you see. Last year, there were a couple of surprising nations in the knockout phase, like Vikingur Reykjavik, I believe. This year, I believe it will be Kosovo with Drita qualifying at 19th with 8 points, and Striński as well qualifying, hoping to replicate what Boras Banja Luka did last season. As Boras Banja Luka actually went to the last 16 last season, and I think they only lost the penalties to Rapid Wien. And yes, the quartet of Polish teams all successfully qualified, and all in the top half of the table as well. Very impressive. Top half means top 18 in case for the math. All in the top half of the table, all 4 Polish teams, impressive. AZ Alkmaar, I believe this team has proved to be a little bit inconsistent, I believe this season will be a little bit of an off league phase season for them. A disappointing 14th place, only drawing at home against Shelbourne and losing away at Drita are keys to miss out on top 8. Fans of Mainz and Shamrock Rovers will be kind of satisfied with a very strong seeded knockout playoff spot with 10 points. But then they will also be frustrated for losing top 8 spot because both sides dropped 2 points versus pot 6 oppositions. Mainz dropped points against Universitatea Craiova, Shamrock Rovers in the last match day, as I mentioned, against Flamborough Spartans. Slovan Bratislava, what an incredible comeback from 2 losses to start, followed by 4 straight victories to secure the final top 8 spot with 12 points. High expectations for Omonia, Legia Warsaw to prevail to lead their countries in association coefficients, and Shakhtar Donetsk especially has to hold the competitiveness for Ukraine. Otherwise, they have been collapsing in the European stage, and I believe they will hold their strength in the competition as they excel in the Conference League. And Real Vallecano, very strong return to Europe, and Fiorentina and Crystal Palace expect a good season. Sparta Praha, perfect in qualifying apart from their first qualifying game against Aktobe. So I'm inclined to thinking they will win the league phase. So congratulations to Sparta Prague. So here are the 36 teams, and unfortunately I'm seeing some signs of the 23-24 seasons where teams from the higher pots all qualify and teams from the lower pots all get eliminated, as you can see. Full house from pots 1 through 3 and pots 4 to 6 are mostly eliminated. This is very unfortunate. It also shows that there's a lack of upsets and there's a lack of underdog stories in the Conference League, as I would predict. So here's an imagined knockout phase bracket. Very interesting. I'm looking forward. But to be honest, I'm not really looking forward to what I simulated because what I simulated is not a lot of upsets, and as you can see, especially in the Conference League, all the teams from the top 3 pots qualified. So, the underdog stories are kind of not hit there. So, that's it. So, that's all my predictions. So, don't take my scoreline predictions so seriously, but what you need to take seriously really is the league phase predictions. At the end of the day, the table is all that matters. Thank you.